Today, I want to teach you verbs to help you sound more professional. And I'm really talking about work, but this vocabulary is relevant to you and everyone else because, well, we use this in just everyday life situations. We have to deal with people at work. We have to talk to people who are perhaps in a position of authority. But in making an association to work, it's going to help you better remember the meaning so that you can use these verbs easily and naturally in everyday conversation. It's good to make that word association. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Wes. The channel is Interactive English. It's all about trying to help you reach your fluency goals. If that's what you'd like to do, please subscribe, turn on notifications so that you will learn about future lessons. Let's begin with our first verb, which is spearhead. To spearhead something, it refers to, well, an individual or a group who is going to lead some type of undertaking or movement. And I'm talking about something big and important that's going on. So you might say, well, you have this new program. Who is going to spearhead the new program? Who's going to be the leader? Or who's going to spearhead this new ad campaign? Or who's going to spearhead the event? So we're talking about leading some type of big undertaking. Next, we have the verb forego. To forego means to decide not to have or do something even though you really want to have it or do it. You basically just have to give it up, which is something that happens in life. It also happens in business. Maybe you have to forego a new business opportunity, or you have to forego the promotion. I can give you a sentence and say that you had to forego the promotion because the company asked you to spearhead this new project, but it required you to move. And you couldn't move, so you had to forego the promotion. And then we have this verb, which is one of my favorite verbs because I like to do it every now and then, and that is procrastinate. To procrastinate means to wait a long time before doing something that you must do. So basically, it's like you're just avoiding work. And often I think you may use this verb in the negative, and somebody might say, hey, let's not procrastinate. We need to do this now, or don't procrastinate. Or perhaps even somebody like your boss could tell you, stop procrastinating. And I do not want to procrastinate either. And I want to take a quick moment to tell you about the sponsor of today's lesson, which is Lingoda. So whether you're learning this vocabulary to sound more professional, or any vocabulary for that matter, you need to practice using it. And if you are determined and motivated to improve your English fluency, Lingoda has an amazing offer because this fall, Lingoda is getting ready to hold its very first 2-month language sprint. And if you successfully complete it, you can get 100% cash back. So why am I always talking about the language sprint and why it's a great opportunity? Well, there are two main reasons. First, you get to improve a lot in a short period of time because this is an intensive language challenge. You will take a lot of classes. And the second reason is that, well, this is affordable. And not only that, you can have the opportunity to get your money back. And I'll tell you how you can do that right now because you have two choices when it comes to the language sprint. You can take the super sprint, in which you will take 30 classes a month for 2 months. If you successfully complete it, you can get 100% cash back. Or you can take the sprint, in which you'll take 15 classes a month for 2 months. And if you successfully complete that, you can get 50% cash back. You must sign up for the language sprint by September 3rd because it's going to begin on September 7th. And I can honestly tell you, Lingoda, it's a great school for learning a language. I've even studied with them. You can see me right there taking a Spanish lesson. And I really enjoyed the classes for several reasons. Lingoda has experienced teachers, flexible learning hours. These are small group classes. There's an interactive curriculum. And as I've already mentioned, the classes are affordable. So if you would like to improve your fluency and join the language sprint and take classes for 60 days, click on the link in the description. And when you sign up, use the code WES20 to get a €20 discount. So click on the link down below in the description to join the language sprint. Be sure to read those terms and conditions and really just end 2021 on a strong note and improve your fluency. Now let's get back to our lesson teaching you different verbs to sound more professional. And the next verb that I have for you is overhaul. To overhaul something means that you are going to examine and investigate thoroughly in order to repair or revise something. So we could use it in the context of education. And maybe a school is going to overhaul their curriculum. Or perhaps a business might overhaul their training manual. You could also use this word as a noun, has the same meaning, and there are some common collocations. You could say that you're going to do a complete overhaul of something or a major overhaul. Great word to know, great verb, because it really talks about some change that's going to happen. The next verb that I have for you is resolve. And the first thing I want to point out with this verb and really talk about is the pronunciation, resolve. Notice that S really has the Z sound, resolve, resolve. And what it means is that you are solving some problem or difficulty and you're trying to make it come to an end. And we often use it with some of those words that I just mentioned. You would try to resolve a problem or resolve a dispute, resolve an argument, resolve an issue. And I could use it in a sentence and say, well, the team has been procrastinating because they have not been able to resolve their personal issues. And this is a problem because we're getting ready to overhaul the entire department. Then we have the verb strategize. And to strategize means to think of a detailed plan in order to achieve success. And you could use this in business, in sports, in war. And really, when you strategize, it's often done with one other person or perhaps a group of people. It's a little similar to brainstorming, but brainstorming is really when you come up with an idea. Strategize is when you're kind of taking that idea and you're creating a plan around it because you want it to be successful. And once you strategize and you have that plan, then you're going to need to implement the plan. And to implement something means that you're just going to start using something. You have some plan and now you're going to put it in action. And you can implement a plan, a policy, an idea. And then, well, once you implement it, you want it to succeed, you want it to be successful, and that's why you really need to execute. To execute means to perform or accomplish something such as a task, a plan, or an order. And I often think that this verb is kind of associated with success. You want to execute in order to achieve success, and hopefully, you will not have to improvise. To improvise means that you're having to deliver or invent or do something without preparation. So for example, maybe you have to give a presentation and you're not prepared and you're going to improvise the presentation. That's not a good idea in business, but sometimes at work, situations may change and people may need to improvise. I could say, well, we strategized for weeks and we came up with this new plan. We then implemented the necessary changes. We were executing well, and then all of a sudden, conditions changed and we had to improvise. Then we have the verb champion, and it's very different than the noun because to champion something means that you are going to support, defend, or even fight for some belief or principle. And relating it to work, you might champion maybe a new policy, or you could champion workers' rights. That's pretty common. Or maybe just champion an idea or suggestion and really get behind it and support it. Next is the verb restructure. And to restructure means to organize a company, a business, or even some system in a way that it operates more effectively. And I think at work, it could be a good or a bad thing because it could be good because restructuring may mean that the company could have more success in the future. It could be a bad thing because when a company restructures, it could mean that some people are going to lose their job. To troubleshoot, which means, I really like this verb, to try and solve a problem for a person or organization. And usually you're often finding why maybe a product or service is not working correctly. And often I think it may refer to something technical or logistical, like with computers. But I think when you troubleshoot something, you're really referring to maybe a smaller problem. And what I mean by that is if you have an entire system and something's not working, when you troubleshoot it, you're fixing the one thing that's wrong, and then everything starts working again. That's what I mean when I say a smaller problem. And I could use it in a sentence and say, the business has been losing money, and we could not easily troubleshoot our problems. So I championed a proposal that would restructure the entire company from the top down. Then we have a very professional verb, which is network. To network means to try and meet people who might be useful to you, especially when it comes to work. And this is something that happens at conferences, at parties, at events, and people will try to network. You want to meet others that might help you get ahead in business. And there's an expression that goes something like, it's not always about what you know, it's who you know. It's that who you know when you network that often becomes more important and could even eventually help you become more successful. Now I want to talk to you about some verbs that you may already know, but I think they are also still going to help you sound more professional and use them instead of some more basic common verbs. Like the first one is to attend. To attend means that you're going to go to some event or place. You're just going to be present somewhere. And I think it is a little more professional instead of using the verb like go, and you're going to go to this place. So you're going to attend a meeting, or you're going to attend a conference. The same goes for the verb assist. To assist, it just means to help. And I think often they're interchangeable. They're basically synonyms, but I think it's a little more professional to use assist instead. Now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think one difference is that I think when you ask for help, then it's almost like you're having trouble with this thing. Maybe you just can't do it on your own. I think if you're asking somebody to assist you, it's like it would be nice if they helped you, but it's like you've still done the primary part of the job. Most of it's done, but you just need a little help and you want somebody to assist you. That's just my opinion, but in general, I think you could use them as synonyms, but to be more professional, use assist. Then we have the verb submit. To submit something, it means that you are giving or offering something for a decision to be made by others. It's a little similar to hand in, which I think is more informal. It makes me think of high school and you would hand in your homework. Submit, a little more professional. You might submit an application, or you could even submit a letter of resignation. And then we have the verb commute. To commute means to make the same journey regularly between home and work. And it's very similar to travel, but I think commute is definitely more specific. We're really talking about work, and you may often follow it with a preposition. You might commute by something, like by train or by bus, or you could commute from one place to another place. And I could say something like, I submitted a request to work from home because it just takes too long to commute from my home to the office. All right, so I hope that you learned some new verbs in this lesson. I hope you can use them at your job, at work, so that you can sound a bit more professional. If you enjoyed the lesson and you did learn something new, please hit that like button. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So long.